Hello, I'm Thomas from Dáváme and you're watching the ultimate Pipedrive tutorial, the only tutorial you must watch. Let's go back to 2010. Pipedrive started there by people who quit Skype at that time because it was acquired by Microsoft. They wanted to have a CRM created by salespeople, not IT guys. And that's why Pipedrive is from salespeople to salespeople. If you compare Pipedrive to other CRMs on the market, Pipedrive is a deal-focused CRM. It means that everything is around the object deal. It forces you to close more deals, and that's what is it about. Other CRMs, you just create a contact list and there are a lot of other objects, but Pipedrive is the revenue engine for your company. Now let's dive in and let's see what this tutorial is about. In several chapters, I will cover these topics. First of all, we will start with settings. We will look at the personal preference setting and the company setting of the Pipedrive, so you will know how to set up Pipedrive properly. Then we just looked at the landing page. When you log in, you enter the pipeline. So we will talk about the pipeline, about the stages you have, and maybe also a little bit about different views that you might have in here. We move to deal view. Deal is an object that represents an opportunity to be closed. So you will see what you can do and what you will see during the sales process. We will cover also activities. Activities are important because if you want to close deals, you need to do calling, you need to do meetings, you need to do some tasks, and this to-do list is centralized in the activities section. As a next chapter, we will move to contact. So this is the list of all the organizations of companies inside Pipedrive and people. Next chapter is about insights in Pipedrive. So all the reporting stuff and features that you can use to see data, numbers, and goals as well of your team. We will move also to automations. Instead of doing tasks manually, you can automate everything in the section of automations. So it will save a lot of time for your salespeople. Pipedrive offers also great sales features in the section of Pulse. You can do scoring and you can do sequences. And finally, we will go to add-on. Pipedrive offers projects, so you can do project management inside Pipedrive, and also campaigns. So if you want to send bulk emails, mass mailing things, you can use this add-on. These topics cover all the knowledge we have and we are giving to you. You will then learn how to close more deals, how to work with your contact, and how you prepare activities to be done. Besides these topics, I will also show you some hidden features that will show you how to make your sales smooth. Let's move from a messy sales department to great sales engine that will boost your revenue. Let's go. The Pipedrive setup first. You go to the upper right corner and you can click Preferences, Personal Preferences. It means how Pipedrive is set up for you as a user. You can see your name, date, number format, language, and default currency. Default currency is important for purposes of reporting, because if you have invoices in different currencies, you use different currencies in Pipedrive, then Pipedrive can convert all these different currencies into one single currency in all the reportings. So this is what you can do. Another big thing here is API. API is just the documentation how Pipedrive is connected to other software. So if you want to connect to your invoicing system, to your marketing tools, to your project management applications, you can use API. Maybe you are not the developer, but if a developer wants to connect Pipedrive to anything, they will ask you either for credentials, but you don't want to share your login credentials, or they can ask for API token. So this is the symbol line that you will copy and just hand it over to your developer. What is important? This API token is user-based. So if you are not an admin and you have restricted permissions in Pipedrive, the developer will need to follow these restrictions. So my recommendation is that if you want to connect Pipedrive via API, you should share an admin's API token. Another part, password and login. Of course, you can change your password anytime, and you should have two-factor authentication. That's the golden standard currently on the market. If you don't use any application for authentication, you should at least have the verification link that is sent to your email inbox just once in several tries to log in. Just you confirm that you are the one who is logging in into Pipedrive. As I already told you, Pipedrive is an amazing tool that is very specific about email synchronization. This is one of the best synchronization on the market of CRMs. Pipedrive is able to synchronize emails to all the deals and opportunities that you have inside Pipedrive. So you have all the communication, all the email communication at one spot. Amazing thing. And you can still use your Outlook, your inbox. You can send emails from your phone, but Pipedrive can synchronize it into Pipedrive. It took me 15 years to learn Pipedrive. If you need my best knowledge, my company Dáváme is a certified Pipedrive partner, and we can help you with implementation, integration, automation, and training of your team. Just click the link in this video. What needs to be done is that you add your email to Pipedrive and you just give Pipedrive all the permissions needed to read and send emails. How to do it? You can just click Add Email Account button. You enter your email address, and then you choose if you want to just connect your personal account, if this account is your personal, or it's a team account. Team account, it means something like sales@yourcompany.com or support@yourcompany.com. But let's start with the personal account. Then you choose the visibility. If all the emails that are connected to Pipedrive will be visible to your colleagues, or it will be private, so only you will be able to see it. My recommendation is that you always have the shared visibility of your emails connected to Pipedrive, because then you can read your emails and also your colleagues, and your colleagues can see your emails, so everybody is aware of all the communication that is inside Pipedrive. Pipedrive also offers an option to synchronize all your emails up to 2 years backwards, so you can have 2 years backwards synchronization, and you can start the synchronization. As you can see, the synchronization is now in progress. It takes a while. The longer in the past you take the option, the longer it synchronizes. However, you can still work with Pipedrive and it does the synchronization in the background. Pipedrive offers signatures. If you want to try sending emails directly from Pipedrive, you want to have some similar features to your Outlook or inbox, like signatures. So you can enter also your signatures that will be included in any email you are sending from Pipedrive. And back to the visibility. I recommended shared visibility inside Pipedrive. However, it doesn't mean that your colleagues can read any email that you have in your inbox. So if you're writing emails with your mom or your friends, and these people are not in Pipedrive as your contacts, as your customers, they won't see them. Only the contacts that you have in Pipedrive will be connected to the email communication that is synchronized. So you don't have to be afraid of some reading of your personal emails. Another option to synchronize within Pipedrive is to synchronize your contacts. So what do you have in your phone? All the list of contacts in your phone to be synchronized in Pipedrive, and vice versa, from Pipedrive to your phone. I always recommend not to do it, because there could be some mismatch of these contacts, because you don't want to have your grandmother in your CRM and some of your customers in your personal list of contacts. Third option that is pretty important is the synchronization of your calendar. Pipedrive can synchronize events with your calendar. So if you just enter at your calendar, it starts synchronizing, and then of course you need to set up some things, some options. First of all, you need to decide if you want two-way synchronization or one-way synchronization. One-way synchronization, it means that if you create any event, any activity in Pipedrive, like a call, a meeting, a lunch, task, it will send this activity into your calendar. You define if you want to have any activity, or you just want some important activity like meeting, email, scheduled demo, and that's it. So you don't have all the call activities that you should do at one day in your calendar, because that would be a mess. So you just decide which activities will be synchronized to your calendar. If you choose two-way synchronization, it means that also if you create any activity in your calendar, it will go directly to Pipedrive. So you can see it in Pipedrive as an activity. You just need to decide what type of activity it will be shown in Pipedrive. So if you create an activity meeting in your calendar, it will go to Pipedrive as a meeting. But if you have a lunch with your granny, it will still be a meeting in Pipedrive. If you're using Google Calendar, you can also decide if you want to include or exclude your private events that you just mark as a private inside your calendar. What I like is just a one-way synchronization. If I create any activity in Pipedrive, it goes to my calendar, but I don't want to all the activities that I create in my calendar going to Pipedrive. But that's just my personal preference. It's up to how you want to synchronize. Last but not least of the personal preferences is the interface preferences. You decide if you're the fan of a light mode or dark mode. For the presentation purposes, I always choose the light mode. Secondly, you define what is the landing page where you start after logging into Pipedrive. By default, you start in deals in the pipeline view. However, if you are a sales rep, it's better for you to start with activities, because you have the to-do list and you can just start marking all these activities as done immediately after login. For some marketing people, it's good to just see a report or campaign, and for the C-level people, sales directors, they usually go to Insights, so they can see all the reports inside Pipedrive. I will keep the pipeline as a default option. And the third option, how you can customize your Pipedrive, is the left sidebar. You can have only the part of Pipedrive that you really need. So let's say I just need deals, I just need activities, sales inbox, and contacts. I don't need documents here. So I can customize it, I can save it, and as you can see, I have only these 4 options in the left sidebar, and all the other options are hidden in these 3-dot section. So I can still enter all these parts of Pipedrive, but it's not visible at the first sight. Why to do it? You keep Pipedrive clean, so you can focus only on things that you should be focusing on, or your salespeople, then they focus on these things. So they don't need to think about why I have campaigns here or why I have projects here and other parts that they don't use. They can just have all these very important parts of Pipedrive in the left sidebar. This is something I will be talking many times during this ultimate guide. The less option you give to your sales reps, the bigger focus they have on all closing of the deals. That was the personal preference setting. Do you want to have a personalized demo of Pipedrive? Just go to Dáváme.com, fill out the form, and our consultants get back to you and show you in 40 minutes how to use Pipedrive in your company. We have also the company setting. So what you can do with your company. Of course, you have the name of the company. Then you define all the activities that you want to do. So usually you have a call, you have a meeting, you have a task, you have lunch, you have preparation of contracts, for example. So all these activities can be prepared and can be also ordered according to the preferences of yours. What is the best practice here? A lot of customers, they divide these activities like calls into 2 activities. First calls and follow-up calls. First meeting, follow-up meeting. Because then they can see it in reports how many first calls a customer was doing with your sales rep, how many meetings, initial meetings you have with the customer, and of course you need to know how many meetings in general they have. But first initial meetings are these meetings that start a conversation and start the new business. If you want to add an activity, you just click Add Type. You can choose an icon and you just save it. It's in the bottom now, but you can reorder the activity anywhere you like. currencies. If Pipedrive offers you the variety of all the currencies of the world, amazing. Like you have 200 currencies in Pipedrive, and Pipedrive can also convert any currency to one currency that you have in your personal setting. However, you can also create your own currency. Let's say you are just a construction company and you sell concrete to your customers and you don't want to have everything in euros, dollars, whatever currency, but you want to sell it in kilograms or tons. So you can create even your own currency. Another option, what you need to set up in company setting is lost reasons. Not every time you win the deal. Sometimes you lose, and you need to define why you're losing these deals. So your sales rep can just mark the right lost reason for any deal that you are losing currently. This is very important for your reports that you can create afterwards. So you just sit down with your sales team and you just define 5, 7, 10, 15, 25 lost reasons. It's up to you and up to the salespeople how they feel what are the most important lost reasons. What is just one thing that you should never allow is allow free form reasons. It means that if a salesperson is losing a deal, then he or she can add one extra lost reason. And you know, salespeople, they are pretty lazy people and they don't want to think about what kind of lost reason it is. It's easier for them to write an extra lost reason. If you allow to have the free form reasoning, then in your reports you will see 150 different lost reasons out of 150 lost deals. So just my recommendation is do not allow it. So that's the company settings. Then you have just the user setting. You have all the users inside Pipedrive. So you have all these people, and then you define also the permissions and visibilities of these people. What I mean, permissions is that you define what the person or the role can or cannot do. As you can see, I have a deal admin and deal regular user. And there are some restrictions on the deal regular user level. As you can see, the regular user can add deals, but cannot edit deals owned by other users or cannot merge leads and so on. The same applies also for global features like adding contacts, adding new organizations, merging organization, deleting some objects, and so on. By default, you have always deal admin, deal regular user, but you can also add extra roles into Pipedrive. According to your plan that you use, you have up to 30 different roles that you can set up. Visibility groups. This is the part where you define what the user role can see or cannot see. So let's just imagine that you have several sales teams. One is located in Germany, one is in France, one is in the UK, one is in the US. And you don't want that everybody can see everything. You want that each of the salesperson can see only their deals, their contacts, their organizations that they have in Pipedrive. But then you want to have the sales team leads to see all the information about deals within all the team that you have. So the sales team lead for Germany will see all the details about deals of all the salesperson in Germany and so on. So you can just set up the visibility of any object in Pipedrive like deals, leads, contacts, organizations, according to the structure of your company. If it's possible, I always recommend to have the full visibility so everybody can see everything, but not every time it's like the best thing that you have. The smaller team you have, the better the option of everybody see everything is. And last part here in the setting of the company is data fields. These are the custom fields so kind of customization of Pipedrive that you can do on the level of organization, contact, deal, lead, project, product. And you can add extra fields that you want to be filled when doing the business. This part is just the part where you can see all the custom fields you have in Pipedrive. Of course, you can add extra field. I will get back to that in the later section, but this part is good for organization of all the fields that you have, and also just to have just the basic overview of all these setup. At one place, you can see the description of the field. You can see if the field is in the model window that by creating any object. So if it's checked, you know that these fields will be visible when adding a new deal. You can see also if it's visible to in any pipeline or in one specific pipeline, and you can also define if the field is mandatory or just important. I will get back to that. This is just the summary, and you can see all these custom fields that you have in Pipedrive. So this is the part of the basic setup. Let's move to the next part where we will be talking about Pipedrive, pipeline, deals, and how to just move all the business forward. Pipeline is your default screen when you log in, and this is the part where you can see your sales process. You have a pipeline that is divided into several stages that should copy your sales process. So this is a qualified deal, contact made, demo scheduled, proposal made, negotiation started. You can see it as a Kanban view, but you can see also a list view of all your deals. You can see a forecast, and you can see also your archived deals. But getting back to Kanban view, because this is the view that you will mostly use on a regular basis, you can, of course, define your stages according to your sales process, because not every sales process is the same. This is just a suggestion. How to just change the stages, the naming. You just go to the edit pipelines part, and you can just change the names. You can name the pipeline, you can change names of any stage. You can also move stages and change the order of stages. In the setting, you can also set up the probability of winning a deal. You can force your salespeople to decide what is the percentage and the probability of winning a deal on the deal level. So you can say, okay, if you are doing this business with Volkswagen, what is the percentage that you win the deal, and what is just the regular basic point of view for a salesperson? They just look out of the window and they just enter any number according to their feeling, gut feeling they have. That's not the best way how to know the probability of winning deals. But what is great, you have just the overview. What is the probability in the first stage, in the second stage, in the third stage, in any stage you have? So you already know it. Either you know it from your previous experiences, or you have it in your reports in Pipedrive. So if you use these big numbers and these conversion numbers, then you have much better probability and future prediction of the pipeline. So let's say at the beginning, when the deal is new, there is only 5% probability of winning it. Then it grows to 20%, 50%. Proposal made, it means 70%, and maybe when negotiation started, then it's 90%. Pipedrive can calculate the future pipeline outcome according to these probabilities. I will show you later. The last option here is rotting days. So how long you just let your salespeople to have a specific deal at that stage. If it's longer at that stage, it will turn red. I will show you. So let's say I will just add 0 here, so you will see this probability. I will just add the rotting day 0, and now I save it. And as you can see, all the deals that are longer than 0 days at that stage, they will turn red. If I move the deal to another, it will go back to white. Just imagine it's a flow of a river. It starts in the mountains and it goes to the sea. Each stage, it's just one part of the river and it should flow. Sales process is just a flow process of deals. And you should force your salespeople just to move the deal from one stage to another, to another, to another. It's just a game, you know? It's just moving the deal to the next stage, to the next stage. And at the end of the day, you win or you lose a deal. But you can force them. And as a sales director or sales team lead, you can see if your salespeople, they are moving these deals forward or not. If it's red, you can see that it's longer than expected at that specific stage. So you can just ask your salespeople, hey, Peter, tell me why you don't move this deal for a long time. And maybe they just forgot about it. Or maybe there's an issue with that specific deal. So you can discuss it. Colors are pretty important in Pipedrive. The red background, it means just the rotting deal. It stays at a specific stage for a long time. Then you have an icon at any deal. It can be either red arrow or yellow exclamation mark, green arrow or a gray arrow. What it means? If there is a red arrow, it means there is an overdue activity. So there is an activity that should have been completed, but it's not. Maybe it's not a big deal, but sometimes if you just need to meet deadlines, hard deadlines, then it's important that your salespeople, they just finish all the planned activities on time. At the first spot, you can see if there are any overdue activities. Yellow exclamation mark, it's even worse. It means that there is no planned activity. And a deal without an activity is just a rotting deal. You don't want to have it there. So you should force your salespeople always add any activity to any deal that you have in the pipeline. You can schedule it directly from the pipeline. So I will schedule a business call for tomorrow. As you can see, now it's gray because it's in the future. If you schedule an activity for today, it will be a green arrow. Green arrow and gray arrow, it's good arrow. You know that it's just an ongoing activity or there is a planned activity and that's fine. So as a sales team lead, sales director, you can just open the pipeline view every evening and just have a look on the pipeline and see if all your salespeople, they do the good job and they have no red and yellow icons, or you can just take action and ask your salespeople why they have overdue activities or deals without any activity. This is a game changer. It is a very cool feature. So you can just, according to the colors, you can see if the flow is there or not. In the pipeline, you can see a deal that is always with a deal title, the connected organization and connected person, the value of the deal, and owner of that deal. And then there is the icon. You can customize this view. So if you go to the pipeline and you customize deal cards, you can enter also important information that you want to collect at the deal stage. So if you want to see, let's say, the budget the customer has, or the size of the roof top that the customer has for installation of photovoltaic systems, or if they have some preferred colors, you can see it on the deal card. By moving these deals further, you can have a nice pipeline where it ends. But sometimes you can move the deal to another pipeline. What I mean, let's imagine that you have just BDRs that are doing just the cold calls, and then they just give all these deals to your salespeople. And these salespeople, they just do the demo and negotiation and so on. Each role in the company should have their one pipeline. So it means you can have a BDR pipeline where BDRs are just having these deals and they just move the deals up to the stage when it's converted for a salesperson. Then you have a salesperson and they are trying to close the deal according to the sales process. And when winning a deal, it can move to a customer success, onboarding, development pipeline, and then you have then 3 pipelines, and each role has their specific one pipeline. Why do you have one pipeline per role? It's about defocusing. If a salesperson has a pipeline for selling a house and one pipeline for selling cars, then they need to switch between pipelines, and this defocusing just costs a lot of time and a lot of money for each company. Pipedrive offers also one extra option at the level of pipelines. It is just the visibility of pipeline. You can define according to the visibility group if this visibility group can see all the pipelines you have in Pipedrive, or you just add some specific pipeline to that role. Why to do it? Just imagine you have a customer care that works with Pipedrive, and you just want to keep them focused on their pipeline, on their flow, on their process they have in Pipedrive. So if they enter Pipedrive, they can see only their customer care pipeline, and they don't see all the other pipelines they have. So they keep working in their pipeline. This is again important part of customization of Pipedrive, that you just keep a role, just focus on their pipeline, not to move from one pipeline to another pipeline, switching between them. If you want to move the deal to another pipeline, you can either use automation, I will get back to that later, or you can just drag and drop it and you just move it to another pipeline, and you just choose which pipeline you want to just send it to, and also you choose the stage in which it should land. Once you just confirm it, it's gone. It went to another pipeline. You are watching this video for a long time. Is it understandable, or you need tailored solution? We can help you with implementation, integration, automation, and training of your team. Dáváme is a certified Pipedrive partner. You can click the link in the description. As I already told you, there's the Kanban view, but there is also a list view. So you can see all the deals that you have inside Pipedrive. Great. You can see not only the open deals, but also the won deals, the green ones, the red ones. These are the lost deals. You can use filters to filter only, let's say, deals that you want to see according to owner, or just you want to see all your lost deals or won deals. You can create also your own filters. Just click filter, add a new filter. Let's say you want to see all the deals that were lost before this year. So it means the past, in the history of your company, but not this year. And you can see we have 49 deals that were lost. What you can do here, you can bulk change the deals. Let's say you might want to reopen the deal. So you can just change the status of the deal from lost to open, and you will reopen all these deals. What you can also do is that you can plan an activity for your salespeople. So just imagine that I have just filtered out all the lost deals in the past of my favorite salesperson, and I can schedule activities for this salesperson to reopen the negotiation, just reopen all these deals to start it over. So I click Add Activity. I will just add a call activity to my colleague Dominic. And of course, I don't want to have all these activities scheduled at one day, because 49 calls, Dominic is pretty good, but I'm not so sure if he can do 49 calls extra to his daily routine activities. So let's say I want to add 5 activities per day. So it means it will add 5 calls today, 5 the next day, 5 the next day, and so on. So he will be able just to handle all these call activities to reopen deals pretty easy. Of course, I want to skip weekends because Dominic doesn't work on weekends. I save it. Now Pipedrive have scheduled all these activities for Dominic in 5 activities per day batches. Another view is forecast view of deals. As you can see, I have 2 deals in my Kanban view in my sales pipeline, and if the salesperson adds also the expected close date to on the level of the deal, I can see it in the forecast. So as you can see, there is just the prediction where the deal should be closed. So I can see also all the coming months and see also the deals that will be closed at that specific month. As I told you previously, you can set up the probability of winning a deal on the pipeline view, on the pipeline setup. If you click here, you can see the total, what is in the pipeline, and of course, you can see also the weighted amount. So probably you will close deals in amount of almost 500 euros in coming months, according to the probability. Now you know what is pipeline about and how you can set it up, how you can customize your pipeline, how you can see deals in different views. When we stay here on this page, on the top, you can find a full text search. You can either just search for a person, for a deal, for an organization. And you can see also if it's just a contact or just a deal and so on. Thanks to the full text search, you can also search through all the other objects inside Pipedrive. Just imagine you have a deal, you lost the name of the deal, you don't know the contact person anymore, you don't know even the company anymore, and you just remember that this person, he has 2 dogs. So let's say, okay, 2 dogs. And as you can see, Pipedrive could find a note claiming he has 2 big dogs. Voila, I found a deal. That's beauty of full text search. But how you can add deals to Pipedrive, that's another topic. There are 3 ways how to add new deals to Pipedrive. First option is just clicking the Add New Deal button. When you click it, you can just enter a person. Pipedrive is already recommending some people that might be similar to the person you want to enter. You can review possible duplicities. You can enter also the company and other details, and you just save it. Then a new deal is created. Second option, how to add deals in bulk, is to import it as a spreadsheet or just move it from a different software. So if you have old CRM, you can just move all the data to Pipedrive. If you have data in your Excel file, in your spreadsheet, CSV file, you can just upload it to Pipedrive. You go to import section, import data, and you either do it from the software or you can import it from the spreadsheet. You can see I have a spreadsheet here with the name, company, and deal columns. And now I just upload, I can upload this spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is uploaded. Pipedrive can actually guess what each column means. As you can see, the company name is already organization name in Pipedrive. Deal is a deal title in Pipedrive. Actually, it doesn't know what name column mean in my spreadsheet. So you can actually drag and drop this information from this section. So you can just person, name, and all fields are mapped currently. You click next. Pipedrive will show you how it will look like. So it will create some organizations, some people in Pipedrive, and also deals. And then also Pipedrive offers an option if you want to merge duplicities, possible duplicities. If there is the same person with the same name, email address, then it could be merged into one The same applies for organizations. If there is an organization in the spreadsheet with the same name and the address, then it could be merged into one, so you don't have duplicities at all. I want the data to be merged. I click Start Importing. Pipedrive imports all the details, all the fields in my spreadsheet. And as you can see, it created 3 items and 6 are already merged. You can see that this field was uploaded. You can just have a look in Pipedrive if everything is okay. If not, sometimes there can be some glitches. So you can revert this action up to 48 hours after the import. So it means if you find that the import was not done properly, you can just click the revert button and it will just move the data away like nothing happened. I can show you revert, and Pipedrive just removed the import. The third option, how to add deals to Pipedrive, is if you go to lead section, there is a web form. So you can create actually a new web form. It's like a form that you can put on your website. It can be a contact form or a lead gen form, or just download some file form. You can choose from templates or you can start from scratch. You just click create a form. There is some intro. You want to collect the name of the person, email, phone as an optional option, and maybe a note. And of course, there is a submit button. If you need anything else, let's say we want to have also company name. So you can just add organization name, and you decide if it's required field, if it's mandatory or just optional. You can choose a style according to your brand identity, and you decide also what should happen when the form is submitted. So first of all, you can decide if there is only just a message, thank you message, or if it's redirected to another website. If you have your Google or Meta advertising ongoing on your website and you want to measure the traffic flow, it's better to have a redirection to another website. It's kind of a thank you page, so you can actually measure the real conversion of your forms. But let's stay with thank you message. You can define your thank you message, and then you define, of course, what it should create in Pipedrive. Should it be a lead or a deal? So we can create a deal. It can have a prefix. So let's say you put it on your website, and this is a web form from your contact web page. So you can just create a prefix in the title of a deal. So then anyone knows this deal came from your website, from a specific website. You define where it should land. So this is the sales pipeline. It should be in the first stage of the pipeline. And who is the owner at the beginning of the deal creation? So we can just create who is the owner as my colleague Dominic. The last option, of course, is that you can either share the link for the form, or you can just copy paste the code to your website and it can be embedded on your website. So you can have these forms embedded on your website and you can start collecting leads immediately from your website or any landing page you create. You click save. Now we have it. I will show you. So if you copy it to the board, I will just fill it out. As you can see, there's this thank you message, and now if I go to Pipedrive, now this is the contact page form Dáváme. That's the submission I just created. You can see who's the owner, that's my colleague, and that this person just filled out a form, and you have all the inputs entered into the form here as a note at the deal. So there are 3 ways how to actually add deals to Pipedrive. One is just manually by clicking the Add New Deal button. Secondly, you can import in bulk as an import file section. And third thing is that you can generate forms that will create deals immediately in Pipedrive once it's submitted on your website. That's about deals. Maybe we can talk a little bit about what is the difference between leads and deals. You know, there is a lead coming in, and usually in other CRMs, you need to convert the lead into a deal. Possibly, you can do it also in Pipedrive. There is a section of leads in Pipedrive, and it works the same way as deals. So if you create a new lead, either manually by importing a file or by a form, it creates just one record here as a lead, and then you can convert this lead into a deal. To be honest, Pipedrive till 2018 there was no option of having leads, and I think still companies, they don't need leads, because if you have an inquiry or just a request on your website, a contact form, somebody who is interested in your product, it's always kind of opportunity, a deal in Pipedrive. And you can create just deals and just convert these deals into next stages, into other pipeline. You can also use leads, but actually it's kind of limited compared to deals. What I mean by that is that leads, they don't have these stages. So you cannot move lead in between stages. Secondly, all the custom fields that you have on the lead section, there are all the leads. You cannot just hide some of them. So you have all the custom fields that you have on deals here as a lead. Also, you cannot mark some of these fields as mandatory fields. So you cannot just demand to this field to be filled out. And of course, you need to convert the lead to a deal. Why to do it? My personal recommendation is, if you insist having a lead section, you can just create a new pipeline called leads, and you just add deals as kind of lead into Pipedrive. You have sections, you can just create some visibility of this pipeline. You can define if there are some required fields, mandatory fields, important fields, and you can just set it up properly for your BDRs or whoever is in the lead part of the business, lead process. So let's move on to deals. Deals are the most important object in Pipedrive. Once you start a deal, you have the full history of the deal. Let's have a look on the deal section. If you just open a deal, there are three parts of the view. On the top, you can see just the basic information about the deal. You have the name of the deal, you have the pipeline, so you can see which stage the deal is at and how long it has been in every stage. You can see who's the owner of the deal, who's the follower of the deal. The follower, maybe I just need to explain, there is always only one owner of a deal, but a deal can have an unlimited number of followers. Follower is someone who needs to be notified if there is any change on the deal level. You can mark the deal as one or just lose the deal by clicking the lost button. There are two more options that you might use. Is you can duplicate the deal, so it will create a copy of the deal. It's good if you want to move the deal to another stage that will be handled by some different teams in your company. And of course, there's an option of merging a deal. Just imagine you have a website and somebody has submitted several leads, same leads, absolutely same, asking for the same thing, but from whatever reason, this person just created 3, 4, 10 leads. You want just to merge all these leads to one, so you can just click merge and merge these deals. This is also important, as I already was talking about visibility groups. So you can see what kind of visibility this deal has. So it can be visible to all the users, or just to the owner themselves, or like any kind of type of groups. So this is the upper part of any deal. On the left side, you have a sidebar with, let's say, static information. So these are the information that you want to collect during the sales process. So the information about the person, about the organization, about the deal itself. So what are the inputs that you need to get for creating a contract or creating just an offer, a quote. So these information you can collect on the left side. On the top, you have a summary of a deal. So you can see very quick overview of the deal. Who is the contact person? Who is the organization connected to that deal? What is the value of the company just by the amount of money? Or there can be some product added to the deal. So we can have license of Pipedrive, let's say. It can be one-time a deal, or it can be also a subscription. So if you have a licenses of Pipedrive, it's a monthly payment, and you have right now 7 users for a price of $59 a month. And of course, then you can just add implementation. It could be 6,000. Right now, I just created the amount. Click Save, and as you can see, this is the value of the deal, and you can see also ACV, ARR, and MRR values of that deal. On the deal level, in this summary, you can set deal probability. As I was already talking about the probability in the stages, you can also add the probability of a deal. If you add the probability of winning the deal here on the deal level, then it's more than the probability in these stages. So it beats the probability set up according to stages. So Pipedrive will calculate with this exact probability. And of course, there can be an expected close date. So you can set up the expected close date for the forecasting. If you remember, there was forecasting pipeline, and according to the date, it will be visible in that specific column in that pipeline. Second part is also having the details about the deal. So you can set up the delivery date, customer preferences, whatever fields you really need connected to deal. You can customize these fields. You can add a new field, date of installation. You define what is the field type. Pipedrive already suggests something. And then on the right side, you can define if this field is editable by anyone or if it's read-only for some roles in the company. So you can define who can actually edit this field or not. Just imagine that your marketing team just records all the details about the source of the deal. So you know if the source of the deal is Google ad or a Facebook ad, or if it's an event, or it's just a direct coming from your website. And you don't want that a salesperson just by accident changes this field. So thanks to the read-only field, only the marketing people can change this field, and salespeople, they cannot. So they can see it, but they cannot change it. Another great feature is visibility according to the pipeline. So you can define if this field is visible in specific pipeline or if it's visible in every pipeline. Again, great for customization according to the roles. So if you have roles in company, you can define if this field, let's say if you have installation date, if it's visible for anyone, for salespeople, BDRs, for customer care, or if it's visible only for this group of people who really install your system. So you can actually really decide that it's visible only in that specific pipeline. And then we have also an option to mark the field as important or required. The difference between important and required is easy. Important, it says Pipedrive highlights this field with a small yellow dot and says, hey salesperson, this is an important field, maybe you should fill it out during the sales process. And it's highlighted in the deal view. On the contrary, the required field, you can define if it's required and when it's required. So let's say at the beginning of the sales process, you don't need this installation date. But from some specific time point in the sales process, you should already know the installation date. So let's say if you already close the deal and if you want to win the deal, you need to know the installation date. And Pipedrive don't let you move to the one section unless you have added this information of the installation date. Save it and you have it here. These fields apply not only to a deal, but you can also add custom fields on the personal level or organization level. This is the left sidebar. If you want to customize and manage sidebar section, you can just click the three dots at the summary and you can define which parts of the deal is important and which are not. You can also reorder these parts of the sections. On the right side, that's my favorite. Let's go to it. It's a dynamic part. You can see chronologically what has happened with the deal from the past, from the early beginning when the deal was created, and then when all the things has happened. So there was a note, if there was an activity, if there was anything else. So you have the full overview of what has happened in the deal. Everything what you can see on the deal level, so all the activities, are also connected to a person. So on the person level, you can also see all these information. The same applies also for organization. So if you put it on the deal level, it also goes to a person and organization. If you just put it on the person level, then it goes to person and organization. And if you put it only on the organization level, it stays within the organization. So the higher you put any information, either note, activity, email, whatever, then it goes like in the lower levels of the connections between these objects. So back to a deal, what you can do here. First of all, you can add notes. Let's say the person wants to go for a holiday to Canary Islands. I can just put a note here. Maybe I know that my colleague Adela loves Canary Island and she's been there many times, so maybe she can recommend good places for this prospect. And my colleague can respond in a thread to the note. So these are the notes. To the notes, you can also add some images and you can also pin the note to the top of the deal. So it will be always on the top of the deal. Now I will unpin it. Second thing you can do within deal is an activity. You can create any kind of activity. You have all these activities that you have set up in the company settings. So you can have call, meeting, lunch, email, whatever activity here. And thanks to the calendar synchronization, you can also see your or your colleagues' free slots in your or their calendar. So if you want to just make a call with the person, you can also decide that your colleague will do the call. And as you can see, I can choose Dominic's calendar and I can see if there are some options for him. So he can have a call 4 p.m. in March. I can save the activity. And now what happens? Once my colleague finishes this activity, a call, he can mark this activity as done. And then Pipedrive is so clever that he knows that it was the last activity at the deal, so he recommends there should be a follow-up activity. He says, hey, salesperson, you have just finished your last activity with this deal. Maybe you should add another activity. What's the next thing you want to follow up with the person or within the deal? So it offers another activity. And me as someone who has just finished the activity, I can just set up follow-up meeting. Let's say we discussed on the call, we discussed that we will meet, let's say next week on Tuesday. I can also add guests within Pipedrive. I can also add a video call, either a Google Meet, Zoom call, or Microsoft Teams meeting. It generates the link inside this event. I can also add description. I'm sending the invite for the meeting. And you just save and close. It automatically sends an invite to the person on the other side, and they can just accept it in their calendar. You might think what the call section here is. Actually, it doesn't mean a lot. You can see the phone number that is added to the contact person here, and you can decide if you want to dial this phone number through the computer or on your phone. This is a great step that I can move to the mobile app. Pipedrive offers a mobile app that is available for Android and iOS systems. This Pipedrive application offers a lot of features that are very important, mostly if you're on the go. First of all, you can trigger a call directly from your desktop on your phone. So just imagine you have a call party. You just want to dial as many numbers as possible. You just sit down behind your computer, you just put your earplugs in your ears, and you want to dial all the phone numbers. How to do it? If you install the Pipedrive app, you can just click the phone number and it triggers the calling on your mobile app. That's not it. One more thing to that. Pipedrive offers you immediately an option to record this activity. So you can, on your desktop, you can add all the details about what you have discussed on the call. Amazing. Second thing, if you have Pipedrive mobile app and you do an outbound call, and after this call you just open the Pipedrive app, it can record this activity immediately. You just confirm that you want to log this activity of an outbound call. Third great stuff around this application is that if you have an incoming call that is not in your contact details, but you have this person calling you in Pipedrive as a contact, you can set up your phone that it will find out it's a contact in Pipedrive, and it will write you down, hello, this is just an unknown number, but according to Pipedrive CRM, it is your colleague John Smith. That's not all. Still, if you have a mobile app, you can go for a meeting somewhere on site. And once you finish the meeting, you just sit down in your car and you want to record what has happened on the meeting. So you just open your app, you just find the meeting, and you can add the recording of all the meeting notes as a note inside the activity. You can just add all this information through your voice to the notes you have in the app. And last but not least, it's a business card scanner. If you go for an expo or if you exhibition and you collect a lot of business cards, immediately at your booth, you can just scan the business card, create a contact in Pipedrive, and even create a deal. So you never miss a deal or a contact anymore from all the expos and exhibitions you have ever been. So these are the 3 options. So these are the 5 options that the Pipedrive app offers you. Amazing. Just install the app and just get faster. Emails. Pipedrive can synchronize emails you already know. You already set up email synchronization, but emails can be sent from your Outlook, from your inbox, from your phone, but also from your Pipedrive directly. So this is an option that you can send emails from Pipedrive. Why you want to send emails from Pipedrive? First of all, you don't need to switch between applications. So you're in Pipedrive and then you need to switch to inbox or Outlook to just send emails, and then you switch back to Pipedrive and so on. So it's one place, but there are like more benefits of that. You can also create templates that will also include the fields from Pipedrive. So if you want to have personalized emails, it can just fill out these information from the fields that you have already in Pipedrive. So there is a salutation, and it will add the first name of the person connected to the deal. And you have the full list, and you can just send that email. Second reason why to send emails directly from Pipedrive is that you have two great features. You can track the mail opening and track also link opening in emails. So once you send an email, you know if your counterparty already opened the email or if they click on something inside the email. So if you just enable these two features and you send that email, you will be notified here in this sales assistant as the email was read, or if there was some clicking in the email and what was clicked. All the emails then are to be found in the chronological section of Pipedrive. You can also filter each of these things. So you can filter all the emails that were sent or files or activities that were inside Pipedrive. Also, all the attachments are inside Pipedrive. So if you are just sending attachments or receiving attachments, you will find them in Pipedrive. However, you can also add more files to a deal or to an organization or to a person if you want to upload extra files that are not shared through emails. You can upload a file up to 50 megabytes. That's the limit. And what's the best? Pipedrive offers an unlimited storage just using fair usage policy. What it means, it says you can upload whatever number of attachments you want to have, but just consider how big your company is, what plan you have, and what is the normal file size and file amount in your industry. So that's amazing. You don't need to buy extra storage compared to other CRMs. Pipedrive offers an option to create documents from templates. What's so great about it? You can actually create a template that is your offer, a proposal, NDA, a contract, and it just fill out all the important information directly from Pipedrive because you have already all the information in Pipedrive. So you can just by one click create a document and then share it with the person. Either you can download it as a PDF and then send it as an email. That's the old-fashioned way. Then you have another option, share the document as a link. Why to share a link? Because then you can track opening of the link. So you know if your counterparty already opens the link and could see the document or not yet. And third option, you can also send a signature request. So you can actually sign it electronically inside Pipedrive. You just add all the details in Pipedrive. That's it. You could also connect invoices in Pipedrive, but actually this works only with Xero and QuickBooks. So it's not so powerful in many countries of Europe or other parts of the world where Xero and QuickBooks is not well used. So this is about the deal. On the top, you can see just the basic information about the deal. On the left side, you can see static information that is necessary for the deal. And on the right side, you can see all the activities and all the things that has been done with the deal on the way of the winning. Let's move to the next chapter. Let's move on to activities. Activities, that's a part where you have your to-do list, or your people, they have their to-do list here. So as you can see, there is a list of activities, either to do or overdue activities or today activities. You can filter all these kind of activities. You can also filter according to the type of the activity. What is so great about it? Usually I recommend that every salesperson starts their day routine here in activities. You have the activity to-do list and you can just start marking these activities as done. You can see there is a business call connected to a phone number. If you use the mobile app of Pipedrive, you just click the phone number and it dials the phone number and it immediately log the activity. You can also add the notes about the activity. Once you click the activity, you can see also the full context about the activity, about the connected deal, about the connected person and the connected organization, of course. Just to be clear, maybe it's not in your setting right now, but if you click the three dots here, you just click Open Details in full screen and then it opens as I have shown you. So this way. So once the activity is closed, you can just mark it as done. You are watching this video for a long time. Is it understandable? Or you need tailored solution? We can help you with implementation, integration, automation and training of your team. Dáváme is a certified Pipedrive partner. You can click the link in the description. What I can show you is that you don't have only the list view of to-do activities, but you can have also the calendar view that mirrors your calendar that you have on your Google, Microsoft or other accounts. But most likely you will use just the list view. What is much better feature than you might think is actually the meeting scheduler. This is the thing that puts away all the table tennis discussion when you want to meet with the prospect. You know, you always send an email proposing some time slots and dates for a meeting, and the counterparty will just recommend some other dates or times, and then you just send back and forward several emails and then you schedule a meeting. However, we are in new technological era and you can actually do it thanks to all this great feature of meeting scheduler. You just create availability of yours. So let's say you want to meet with the prospects every Monday from 11:30 to 6 p.m. and then maybe Wednesdays again from 9 to 5. All these meetings, they will be for 1 hour and you want to offer these availabilities from now on till not defined. Continue. You want that if somebody accepts your time availability, it will create a meeting activity in Pipedrive. It can generate all the things around it in Pipedrive. You can also define if you want to collect the name of the person who wants to schedule the meeting, email, but also maybe phone number. You click continue and Pipedrive generates a link that you can share with the person. So we can open. And as you can see, there are these Mondays and Wednesdays when the person can actually schedule a meeting with you. So there are like all the slots that are available on your side. Pipedrive just take care of all the conflicts, possible conflicts with your other events that you have already in calendar and offers only the really free slots. So you can send these options and the person just fills out her name, email and phone number and confirm booking. The person gets an invitation into her email and calendar. You get this information also into your Pipedrive, so you will have a meeting scheduled, and if you have your calendar synchronized, you will get it also in your calendar. That's how you avoid this table tennis discussions back and forth, and you just send a link to a person to schedule meetings. So it's a great feature that you can actually add this link to your signature, to the footer of any email, or at least as a link inside the body of the email. The activities, they are pretty clear, so let's move to contacts. As you can see, you have the list of companies that you have inside Pipedrive. You can see that I have 144 organizations in Pipedrive, and I have 11,620 people inside Pipedrive. What you can do is that you can actually filter some contacts or some organization that you want to get in touch with. I can filter some contacts. I can use just a new filter. I can just add a person, email that is not empty, so I will get a possible way how to contact the person. I want to have also that I have closed a deal with the person is earlier before this quarter, and also organization that comes from Czech Republic. As you can see, I have 8 people. So these are the people I closed the deal in last year or previously, and that come from the Czech Republic. I can just select all these people, and actually I can send a group email. It means that I can invite them for a Christmas party, or just send them some invitation for an event that we organize in that specific location. I can choose from a template, so it can be really personalized with the salutation at the beginning and all the details filled out in the email body, and send it. Although it's a group email, it doesn't mean it's sent as a bulk with all the contacts CC or BCC. It's sent as one-on-one, so it looks like you have sent it manually one by one to all these recipients. So when I click send email, they will immediately get an email from you with the body that you have entered there. With contact details, you have also one great feature, especially for account management. If you have a key account managers and you want to just make sure that you really have a lot of touch points with your repeated customers, because it's much easier to get some value from current customers than acquire new ones. So you can use contact timeline. Contact timeline just shows either organization or people and all the touch points up to 12 months ago. So let's say you want to see organizations and you want to just use a filter with a label VIP. So you will have all your VIP customers, organizations that you work with. And you can see all the touch points you have had with these organizations in the last 12 months. So as you can see, there are no touch points at all. There are some touch points with some organizations. If you decide that you want to have at least one touch point with an organization each quarter, with VIP organization each quarter, then you can see if it's happening or not. The sales team lead can actually sit down with the sales team or key account managers and can see if there are some touch points. If not, the sales team lead can actually just add an activity, add a deal or a note to any of these filtered VIP organizations. So then the touch point can start immediately. When we're talking about contacts, we definitely need to talk about duplicities. This is something that was here, that is here, and will be here. Duplicities, they cannot be avoided. And actually, this is something that Pipedrive can help you with. Pipedrive can detect some potential duplicities, and then you can just decide if it's duplicity or not. And by just clicking merge, then it's merged. The same applies for organizations. What is my recommendation here? You should have one person who will just take care of all the duplicities in your Pipedrive frequently. It means every month for 15 minutes, this person sits down and checks all the duplicities, possible duplicities in Pipedrive, and either decide to merge these duplicities or keep them separate. Let's move on with insights. Insights, this is the important part for the C-level people or sales directors, or for anyone who needs some statistics about the sales, about the salespeople, and about the whole processes that you have in the company. You can just go to Insights, and then you have several things you can do. First of all, you can create reports of sales. What you can do, you can just create a report, and you want to see either activity details about contacts, about leads, deals, or revenue forecast. Let's start with deals. So you want to see a performance of a deal. So you can just click, and there are like all the deals that were created this year. As you can see how many of them were created and are open, how many are won, or how many are lost actually. So this is just a report. You can add extra filtering criteria. So let's say you want to see only closed deals. So as you can see, there are 2 won deals in January and 23 in February. You can decide if you want to have it as a chart or bar chart or a pie chart, just the number, or if you want to have just the table. Once you have it, you should definitely name it, and then you save it, and you save it to a dashboard that you want to have. So let's say I have a new dashboard here, just save it. And once you enter the dashboard, you can actually see the report. If you want to see a different period of time or just a specific salesperson, you can just filter it on the level of a dashboard. So let's say I want to see not this month, but let's say I want to see last year activities. Last year deals. So last year we won 22 deals and lost only 12 deals. As I said, you can also drill down according to sales reps, so I can see how many deals were won or lost by this specific salesperson. You can add almost unlimited number of reports on the dashboard. So you can just not only have one report on a dashboard, but you can have multiple. What you can see and what type of reports you can have. So first of all, we started with performance. So this is how many deals were won, lost, created, closed, and so on. Then there is another report talking about conversion. So you can see what is the conversion rate between stages and from the beginning till the end. This conversion can be then used in the probability of pipelines. Duration, very nice statistics about how long your sales cycle is. So you can see if you sell on average in 3 months, in 3 weeks, or 3 years. Another type of a report is about the progress. So it says how many deals have moved forward since you have checked last time. And then of course about the products. What products are in the winning deals, which products are in lost deals, and you can also like compare which products are the most relevant for your customers. Similar things applies also to leads, but there is only the performance and the conversion, because you usually convert leads from to deals and you need to see statistics about it. About the contacts, so you can see how many people you have in the CRM, how many organizations have a label with VIP, and so on. If you're sending campaigns, I will get back to that a little bit later, you can see all the statistics, how many people received your communication, how many people unsubscribed, how many people bounced, and so on. And what is really useful is activities. So you can see actually activities, how many activities were added by salespeople, or what is much better, how many activities have been closed or marked as done by salespeople. So you can see that your salespeople close on average 15 calls a week and 5 meetings a week. Revenue forecast, it can tell you what is the forecast of the revenue coming in the next period of time, according to products and of course according to deal revenue. This is one option. Another option is that you don't need to create only reports, but you can actually create goals for your salespeople or for your company. So you can say, okay, I want to see I want to set up a score for won deals. So let's say I want to see assign company. I want to have it in my sales pipeline. I want to see monthly statistics, and either I want to set up how many deals should be won in that specific month, or what is the value I want to get from that. So value in euros, it's let's say I want to have 10,000 euros a month from my sales team coming in, and it generates a report where I can see what is the reality and what is the goal. So once the deal is won, it will just be visible here. So I can just demonstrate how it looks like if I win these two deals. You can see a nice animation that you have just won a deal. I will won one more deal. Again, these are the mandatory fields that needs to be filled out. And getting back to the goals. So deals won in a month, goal, add to dashboard, new. Now I can just enter just go to and just clear the period, and as you can see, there are already some deals that were won in amount of 18k, and the goal was 10k. So this is the statistics and the goal setting. So in Insights, in all the reporting feature of Pipedrive, you can set up different reports and goals for your company, your teams, or your salespeople, and you can see also the results, and not only the prediction but also the reality, how it goes. Let's move on to another part of Pipedrive. It's automations. Pipedrive can actually help your salespeople to do some work instead of them. What I mean by that, just imagine then there is a new lead coming in, and you want your salesperson to contact this new lead. Actually, what Pipedrive can do is, once there is a new deal in Pipedrive, it can send a thank you email to the prospect and telling him that it will be handled by this or that salesperson. It can create an activity for the salesperson to contact this prospect, and maybe it can also move the deal to a specific stage according to some values that already the prospect has filled out in the form. Automations, there are three parts. Either you can use already predefined templates. So you can just search a template and you can just click, preview it, and deploy this automation. Or you can start an automation from the scratch, and then there is a history of all the runs of all the automations. So you can actually see what has happened as an automated activity or automated task inside Pipedrive, and can see also if it went well or not. So let's go to automation. You can just create a new automation by clicking Add New Automation. So let's say we want to have new deal coming in, sends an email to prospect and creates an activity for the sales person. So once you set up the naming, it's important, because then if you want to debug some automation, you want to know what kind of automation it is about, and if you name it properly, then you won't get lost in all the automation that you might have inside Pipedrive. Every automation starts with a trigger. Either you have a dates trigger, so let's say you want to start with a date of winning a deal. So 7 days after winning a deal, you want to take any action. Or 3 days before installation date, you want to send a reminder. And then you have also event trigger. It means when something happens, then something else should happen. So let's start with event trigger. When a deal is added to Pipedrive, so let's say this one, we can also add another condition that, let's say, stage of the deal is new deal in sales pipeline. Then it should, first of all, take an action, and it will send an email with email tracking and link tracking. The email goes to the deal contact person email, and write down that it's a thank you for your lead. Thank you. Your request will be handled by our consultant. You can enter also the owner of the deal, the name of the owner of the deal. So it can be owner, deal owner name within next 24 hours, your favorite company. You want this email to be tracked and also track the opening and link tracking. Just save it. And then you want to also create an activity. So you just create an activity within the deal, within the organization and the person. So you just create an activity with the subject first call. The type of the activity is a call, and you predefine when it should happen. Ideally, the same day when the lead comes in. Then it should be connected to the deal and to the organization and to the contact person. What it means is that you can see the activity on the level of a deal, on the level of organization, and also on the level of the person connected to the deal. You apply it. Now you have everything set up, so deal is added. It will just confirm that the stage of the deal is new deal in the sales pipeline. Then it sends an email with this body, and it creates an activity for the owner of the deal. You can click save. You can activate the automation, and actually we can test it. We can create a new deal. Once the deal is created, it's in the sales pipeline, and we can just open it, and we can see that there was an email sent to the person, and there is an activity that should be done today. It takes a while that the emails will be visible here. As you can see, there is an activity that is created automatically within the automation. You can have multiple automations that will really make the life of your salespeople easier and much more faster, so they can close more deals and focus on what really matters. So these are the automations. A specific part of new features that are inside Pipedrive are connected to kind of automation. So these things could be done through automations, but actually it's much better to use the new feature of Pulse, where you can find scoring and where you can find sequences. Scoring, what it means, you can create just a scoring system. You can add some highly positive information or inputs on the deal level. Let's say the customer is from your location, or they really are in a rush to close the deal, or they want to buy it as fast as possible, or they want to buy some great amount of your products, or there are some slightly positive information, so the customer is maybe willing to buy it or close the deal within this year. Or there can be some negative factors or inputs about the deal. Let's say the deal is too small, or the customer is too small that you don't want to actually take care of it. So if you create a criteria, let's say about the deal, or the budget of the deal is less than 1 million, then it will get some negative points. If it's, of course, if the budget on the deal is more or equal to 15 million, it will get some high amount of points, and if it's slightly positive, it can be something in between. And then this deal gets some number of valuation weighted on the scale from 0 to 100. So if you have a lot of leads coming into your Pipedrive, Pipedrive can actually score these leads according to some variables, and then your salespeople then know and can see at one spot if it's really something that matters or if that's just a deal that it's not so important or maybe it's not about to be closed. Another thing here, a new feature actually, of Pipedrive is sequence. You can create sequences. It means touch points that your salesperson should follow through the process of sales closing. So let's say you have a new sequence that will start from scratch on the deal level, and let's say when the deal is added to a sequence, let's just imagine that you try to contact the person. You try it for the first time, for the second time, for the third time, nothing happens. So then you can actually set up a robot, an automation, or we call it sequence, that will do the hard job after your hard try. So once you try it for the 3 times in a row and nothing happens, then you can actually move the deal to the sequence and it will do some magic instead of you. So once the deal is added to the sequence, it can actually send an email, and it can send an email from a template. So let's say I have a cold email template here that says something about the company and about some important information. The email is sent. Then you can actually wait, let's say 3 days, and then you will have an activity just to call the person again, and then you add another step in the sequence. So you choose another email to be sent, and then one more email to be sent. "10 days. That will be the last email. Now we have a sequence. When you add a deal to a sequence, it will send an email, then it will create an activity for the salesperson, it will send another email, and the last email after 10 days. And then the sequence is done. So you have created this sequence. After 3 unsuccessful attempts of reaching out to the person, you have this sequence. So then you can either add the deal manually to the sequence. So let's say you can add the deal to the sequence manually, or you can actually use automation, and if the deal meets some criteria, you can actually do it automatically. So add the deal to a sequence. So this deal, and you add it to the deal after 3 unsuccessful attempts. Save it, and that's it. So these are the 2 great features about Pulse. In the future, Pipedrive also plans to work more with feed, so it will recommend you some deals that are important and overlooked, and maybe identifies also some opportunities in your data. Pipedrive also wants to enrich contact details about the company and about contacts that you have inside Pipedrive. In the last chapter, we will have a look on some add-ons that are inside Pipedrive. First of all, we can talk about projects. Once you win a deal, then maybe there is a need for a delivery timeline or a project that will be created out of the deal that was actually closed. So you can have just the project management inside Pipedrive. Once you close a deal, you can create a new project inside Pipedrive. You can choose a template. You can also choose a deal that is connected to that. New project. Start date will be tomorrow. Save it. And the project is created. It's similar to a deal view, but actually you can do more with the project management and activities inside a team. So you can actually create tasks and activities within your team. You can have also sections that needs to be completed for completing the whole new project. Another feature is campaigns inside Pipedrive. You might know MailChimp or other mass mailing tools. Pipedrive offers also mass mailing tools inside Pipedrive. So actually you can send newsletters directly from Pipedrive. This is a paid add-on, and you need to set up first your domain that you have in your ownership. You need to set up DNS settings and DNS records on your domain. Then when it's authenticated with Pipedrive, you can start sending campaigns. Pipedrive asks you for the sender's approval. So once you have all the approvals, you can start sending. Of course, you pay according to the number of subscribers you are sending some mass mailing. What you can do, you can send emails. So these are kind of newsletters. So once you click Add New Campaign, you create the name of the campaign. You can choose the filter of contacts that you want to send the newsletter to. So this is great benefit of having newsletters inside Pipedrive, because you don't need to export these contacts, and you can actually use the filters inside Pipedrive to filter out your contact list and send the newsletter to this contact list. So I can choose filters. So I want to have a person, email is not empty, and a deal closed is last year. As you can see, I have 2 recipients only. You define who is the contact person that the newsletter is sent from. You define the subject of the newsletter, and actually you create the whole body of the newsletter. You can either create it from scratch, or you can use a template, and then of course you can use also HTML formatting. Once you set it up, then you can also define if it should be sent immediately or scheduled for some specific time, and you click send. Pipedrive then offers you all the statistics about how many people received that email, how many people opened that email, how many people unsubscribed, bounced, and so on and so on. This add-on is not great only for one-time newsletters. You can actually predefine some templates that you create inside Pipedrive and that are sent by your automation. So just imagine you have an onboarding of a new customer. Once the deal is won, you have an automation that will send every 2 days an email, and you want this email to be beautiful. So you use automated campaigns where you just create these templates that are triggered and sent by the automation. All the other add-ons that you might want to use, you can just go to the marketplace of Pipedrive, and you can just look up for some specific needs you might have. You always find an app for that. So you can just go there. You want to have some LinkedIn connection, and Pipedrive offers you some application that you can natively connect directly to. This was the last chapter of this ultimate guide of Pipedrive. So if you want to start with Pipedrive, just re-watch it again, try it on your own, test it, enjoy Pipedrive, and close more deals. If it's too difficult for you, maybe we can help you. You can have a look in the description of this video and you can find a link where you can find help from our side. We can always help you so you don't need to find all the dead ends on the way to set up Pipedrive properly. That's it from my side. Thank you for watching. Rewatch it, subscribe for this channel, and see also great other features of Pipedrive that we dive in much deeper. Thank you. Thomas out.